Now, joining us for the Must Read Opinion page is anchor for the Blaze TV, Amy Holmes. Amy, welcome back.
So this is what
All right, this is
John
what
Hyland was talking about.
John, all right. This is Why Ben Carson's Nazi Analogies Matter by Pete Wehner. Very good writer. Self-government requires more of people than pounding sand. There is vital work that needs to be done because these things are hard. Doesn't mean we can give up. And we certainly don't need conspiracy-minded amateurs like Mr. Carson and Mr. Trump distracting our attention from them. Politics isn't meant to be a catharsis. I get that it may be emotionally satisfying to cheer on careless rhetoric, to portray every political difference as a give me liberty or give me death moment, and to imply that America under Barack Obama is like Germany under Adolf Hitler. But it is also intellectually discrediting, politically self-defeating, and unworthy of those who are citizens of this great republic.
And this is to declare that the United States is, quote, very much like Nazi Germany is a special kind of libel. He goes down where there are constant comparisons to America as Nazi Germany, Barack Obama is Adolf Hitler. It just seems
and constantly by Ben Carson.
That's what I'm saying.
Just to be clear.
I'm saying, no, this is about Ben Carson. That is almost disqualifying in and of itself to me.
Should be, Amy, shouldn't it be?
Well, Pete Wehner is a very serious guy, and over at commentary.org, they've been writing very consistently against Donald Trump, and now more so about Ben Carson and the Nazi analogy. Also, David Frum has been all over Ben Carson with this. I don't think Ben Carson is saying that President Obama is Hitler. I think that the comparison that he was trying to make, at least when it came to the Second Amendment, had to do with guns and gun ownership, and it's one that you actually do see a lot in the Second Amendment.
But he's been saying things like this for some time. The United States is very much like Nazi Germany. He compared Obamacare, which I opposed from the very beginning and still oppose and think it is genuinely bad for this country. He compared it to slavery. He said it's the worst thing that has happened to this nation since slavery.
And when asked specifically how to understand what is happening to America in the Obama era, he says you should read Mein Kampf to understand America.
Gene Robinson.
In this era.
Well, I mean, it's incomprehensible, and this is obnoxious and objectionable crazy talk is what it is, and I think it's disqualifying for Ben Carson, because if he really thinks that, if he really thinks this is Nazi Germany we're living in, then that's a huge problem. Why is this resonating with people? Why aren't people just rejecting him out of hand because of this? I confess I don't know, and I think I can kind of get my head around the Donald Trump phenomenon. It's very difficult for me to understand the Ben Carson phenomenon in the same way, given the stuff that he says. It's just, when you bring out the Nazi analogies and the slavery analogies, there's just something wrong.
I agree that it's
ridiculous.
wild and irresponsible, but to say that you don't understand why it's resonating, that there is a group of voters that are, putting their support behind Donald Trump and Ben Carson, who do feel that the state is working against them, and who do feel that the state is taking over private decisions like health care, like gun ownership, and that's what Ben Carson is tapping into. We can all around this table say it's wild, it's irresponsable, it should be disqualifying.
It is wild.
Look,
when you make a
anti-statist sentiment.
So why isn't there an establishment figure that is intellectually nimble enough to make these arguments with going to crude third-grade insults?
Well, if you look at the lineup, you guys were discussing it earlier, Marco Rubio, he makes similar analysis without all of the wild, crude, as you would say, metaphors and hyperbole.
Look, let's be clear, though. When you invoke Nazi Germany, you're invoking a regime that slaughtered 6 million Jews. That's what people hear when they hear Nazi, right? When you compare America to Nazi Germany. There's no place there's no reality that we live in which America is anything like a country in which 6 million Jews were sent to the gas chambers. And I think that's the level, that's the incendiary and objectionable part about this. To say, yes, of course, there are many people in America who think government's too big. I don't really think
it goes well beyond that. Who believe that government is intruding.
That's fine. But if there's any American who thinks that Barack Obama is in some way analogous to Adolf Hitler, i.e., someone who sent 6 million Jews to the gas chamber, that person is out to lunch.
Or for example, or for that matter, who analogizes to slavery and millions of African Americans held in physical bondage, bought and sold like cattle. That's not Obamacare. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right.
You know what else is
and
crazy?
It's insulting. It's
What else is
objectionable.
crazy?